with your own CFD codes, when you are approaching with your own CFD codes, how do I write my code, or what is my understanding in that? So let me take it on that. Let me take a point on that one. So let us discuss. So when you have flow problem, see here on screen we have classification of the fluid flows and based upon the equation. When my fluid flow is viscous in nature, so that is viscous fluid flow. If you are addressing with a steady flow, then the type of equations governing in that one, so the type of equations you get, it is elliptical in nature. That is for the steady case, elliptical in nature. And when the viscous flow with the unsteady flows, that need to be addressed with a parabolic equation. So now let us see second case. If your fluid flow is inviscid in nature, and inviscid and steady, then that particular equations are being governed by the where Mach number is less than 1. So that is subsonic cases, it will be governed with a steady flows, that is subsonic, and there is being governed by the elliptical equation. And when your unsteady inviscid flows, that need to be addressed with the hyperbolic equation. So I'm telling you, this table will help you to write your own codes. Or if you are not interested to write your own codes in CFD, you can utilize these particular codes. You can understand the physics happening inside the tool, which equations that is being adopted. So your understanding will be made clear at this stage. Okay. So that is inviscid flows with the steady, it will be addressed with the elliptical, and inviscid with an unsteady, it has to be addressed with the hyperbolic equation. So now talking about the other one, that is, let me take one more color in this. So when you are talking about the thin shear layers, I'm addressing a problem with the thin shear layers are being coming in that particular fluid flow. If it is supersonic, that will be addressed with the hyperbolic and parabolic equation. That will be addressed within a hyperbolic or the parabolic equation. And if it is unsteady case, in that case also it is being addressed within a hyperbolic and the parabolic case, where the thin shear layers are available. So that means whereas the shock wave is available on the boundary, so that need to be addressed with the parabolic and hyperbolic equations. Where it is less than 1, so that is subsonic. So simple mass when you are putting inside the stagnant water, that is viscous fluid flow, where it is being kept inside the mass in that water, so that need to be addressed with the viscous steady elliptical equation, viscous unsteady parabolic. That way you are understanding. This looks like a simple table, but if you fix it in your mind, so you are ready to code your equations. If you are taking this complete unit, so this will make your understanding clear. How does this CFD is beautifully designed in that. And how they are utilizing these equations. That physics we have understood from this particular unit. Okay. So this is what all about. The equations, which equations need to be adopted. So that is made clear from this. Okay, fine. We have discussed here this. So where exactly we have started with? So we have started with actually, that is the types of flow problems. So that is physical problem, and we have addressed in that one. So we have said, so we are starting with the equations of mathematical class of partial differential equation, and there we have come to the conclusion that it is of three forms, that is elliptical, parabolic, and hyperbolic. And now coming to the characteristic propagation and the propagation speed. So whereas the elliptical is concerned, so the characteristics and information and the propagation speed has been concerned with in case of elliptical one. So that equations are going to be, so characteristic information is going to be complex and undefined, and whereas the domain of dependence is concerned, entire solution domain, and the range of solution is entire solution, and type of numerical method is being addressed as a relaxation method. Now coming to the other one, so that is a parabolic path. When you are followed with a parabolic path, so you are having a, let us say, in the characteristic information we have real and distinct values. We have real and repeated infinite values we have, and domain of dependence is present and entire past solution dependent, and present and entire past solution domain it is. So that means after point P, whereas in the elliptical one, P surrounding the P, whereas in the parabolic one, P after. So that is, it is saying present and entire past solution domain, and range of influence present and entire future solution domain. So that means P after only the resultant is being existed. And how the numerical method will be doing is, that is by time marching method. That is by the time marching method. Right. So this is adopting the relaxation methods, and this is adopting the time marching method. I'll clear even about the marching and the relaxation methods in the next sessions. Right. So for this one, just take the name as time marching method and the relaxation method. And whereas the hyperbolic problem is being concerned, where we are getting the resultant values are real and distinct, And here in this one, past solution domain between the characteristics and future solution between the characteristics. So that means both we have. In this one, we have domain of dependence and region of influence. Domain of dependence and region of influence. So only in the case of parabolic, it is only on one side, whereas in the elliptical, entire solution domain itself is its domain of dependence and its region of influence. Whereas in the hyperbolic problem, only before it is domain of influence and after it is region of influence. So how exactly the future solution depends when? That depends upon the solution of the range of influence. That depends upon the range of influence. Right. So next, what is the numerical method it is adopting is, that is marching method it is being adopted. So if you have already done with the numerical methods, you might be aware of this particular, what is the relaxation methods or the numerical methods. So this is what the overall conclusion about what we have seen in this particular unit, and how do we address to the problem. In the previous slide, I have shown you what exactly the flow problem, related to which one I need to adopt it if I'm unaware of the equations when I'm solving it on my own. And in the current one, we have seen which type of resultant I'm supposed to get it. That means even the resultant, you have an idea what resultants you are going to get it in this one. Even we have solved with an examples. If you just revise once, you will clearly picturize, yes, the CFD code is so easy in this one, but with simple investment of your time and some little bit logics, if you apply it, definitely you can easily crack the CFD code. Let us see. So as you are waiting about this problem, so if in that above three criteria or in the previous slides, if I am talking about the parabolic nature, hyperbolic nature, or the elliptical equations or parabolic equations or the hyperbolic equation, now here we have the question like, if it goes out of these three boundaries, so what would be the resultant of it? Yes, for your understanding, I have brought one more solution for it. Right? So that is the problem. I have brought it here in this on screen. You can see I have brought in a blunt body. So you can take it as a blunt noses body where it is a re-entering body. So let us take some re-entering body where the flow is re-entering, where the body is re-entering into the Earth's atmosphere. Here you can see, so might be in your previous aerodynamic study, you have already dealt with the shock wave on this particular body, and this type of shock wave we will call it as bow shock, as it is not having any perfect angles of oblique, or it is not a perfect angle of 90 degrees. So we have to say this is a bow shock where it's a combination of normal and the oblique. So where it is normal means, see if I annote in this one, so very small angles when I'm annotating it. So when I annote with a very small straight lines, yes, in that case it might be, we can say that yes, in that angles it will see, in that angles it is normal. So very small lines I am drawing it. So but when I'm drawing the other line other than the straight middle point, if I'm drawing other line, any other location from this particular point, so there perfectly I can keep one very small length to be normal, and remaining lengths I have to keep it as oblique. So that means with some angle I have to distribute on that particular body, then only I can get the exact curvature of the bow shock. Now why this particular problem has been considered? So bow shock. So whereas in the supersonic case or the hypersonic cases, when the blunt nose body is being designed, so here in this case, we can see that the flow has resulted in two types. One region where we have, so here if you see, in the dotted region, the flow has become, so because here it is like acting like in a normal shock. Here it is acting like in a normal shock. So we know that immediately after the normal shock, when the flow passes immediately after the normal shock, the flow, although whatever the Mach number it is going for, it has to come down for less than 1. So after crossing the normal shock wave, the flow properties or the flow Mach number should reach the subsonic range. but reach to the subsonic range. So that range we have defined it. So in this region, the flow has become subsonic. So that you just see where I'm noting on the screen. So here in this region, the flow has become subsonic, and after this region, the flow has become, again the flow has become with some hypersonic Mach number only. May not be the same Mach number I have it. So where I have hit with this particular bow shock wave. So here I have some Mach number which is greater than 1. Exactly, I know the greater than 1. But when it is exactly in front region, so there the Mach number has completely dropped and it has become a subsonic region. Now, as far as our equations are concerned, inside this particular, that means behind the normal shock, it has become subsonic region, and influence out of that range has become supersonic range. So in these two cases, so that means in the subsonic cases, hyperbolic equations only can address this problem, and whereas outside this particular region, it has to be addressed within a hyperbolic equation. So this problem cannot be addressed with a single equation. So here I need to adopt the two equations. So one is elliptical equation, so the other one is a hyperbolic equation. So this type of cases we will call it as a mixed type of equations. This cases we will call it as a mixed type of equation. That is the reason when I'm talking about the fluid flows around the bodies, I've told you that A, B, C, D points we are taking it. So that is the importance of this A, B and C, D. So where exactly that boundary is influenced, at which point that flow is behaving. So that points, and I told you two methods are available under that heading. So it is shock capturing and shock fitting methods. So these methods will struggle for that one, and you need to adopt within a mixed type of equation. So for example, if you have went with the only subsonic case, flow will hit an error because the Mach number is greater than 1. Immediately at the first point it will hit with an error because it will ask for the Mach number to be less than 1. Not satisfied. And next point, when I apply complete hyperbolic equation, the normal shock relations will not be satisfied at this particular point, because after crossing the normal shock, the flow should become subsonic. So that is not satisfying. So that means when I adopt the mixed equation only, this type of problems can be solved. This is a real physical problem where we have in CFD. And let me tell you, in around 1960s to 1970s, the CFD people, they have kept quiet. They told that no, these problems cannot be addressed with the elliptical or hyperbolic or the parabolic equation. They have kept it aside. Yes, CFD cannot solve all these cases. CFD cannot solve beyond the subsonic flow. They have made it the note that CFD cannot solve beyond this particular cases. So that is only possible when it is completely supersonic, when it is completely hypersonic, when it is completely subsonic. But this type of cases, now we are already advanced in the CFD. This type of problems also we are addressing with respect to the tools or the codes, but only the change is that the mixed equations need to be adopted in this one. So when you are adopting with the mixed equations, yes, this type of problems also can be solved. So in order to make your understanding clear, I brought this particular example, which is physically this type of cases would be resulting in this one. And here the delta represents this boundary layer thickness. Delta represents the boundary layer thickness. As far as this image, I have shown you the very large distance in between that. But when you are going for as your Mach number is inversely proportional, to the delta. As your Mach number increases, this delta will become very small. The delta thickness may range around, if you are going around supersonic speed 2 mm, around hypersonic speed 1 mm or less than 1 mm also. But that influence of it is changing a lot of characteristics in that. So this is only for your understanding. I made a zoomed view of it, but in real phenomena, these regions exist. But that thickness will be very small. Okay. So that you should note here. What happens in the real phenomena. So we will be calling it as sonic flare, shock wave, bow shock wave. But that's actually here what is happening. So now you just understand when you are approaching it to the problems. Yes, this is what actually happening in aeronautics. That is what the people will say. I'm passionate about this aerodynamics or aeronautics. I want to become an aerospace engineer. Why? Because they are addressing this type of problems where they have unsolved equations. Many equations are still unsolved, so that they are behind that particular one. Okay, Fine, let me go on to this particular what is a blunt nose problem. So here on the blunt nose problem, so you just see 1560s, they have very difficulties in solving this type of problems, and later they told yes, today CFD solvers are being advanced and they are providing the solutions for this type of problems also. and very quickly the results are being attached. And this is the case where the detached shock wave, when it is a detached shock wave, I have told you in the previous cases, we are assuming that the shock is attached. In the case of the detached shock wave, right? So in case of detached shock wave, that is the elliptical, the pockets will be developed. So that is what I made an assumption in the previous one when you're talking about aerofoil studies. The shock wave in front body, parabolic equation I told, no elliptical, so no air pockets in that. But here in this case, the pockets have been raised. So where pockets have been raised, that need to be addressed with an elliptical, and the other one, that is a hyperbolic problem. That elliptical and hyperbolic problem need to be addressed, right? So that is what we have to understand, the beauty of physics we are dealing in this subject of CFD. Okay, fine. So so let me conclude what we have done till now. So as far as your previous understanding is being concerned, flows can be classified as internal flows, external flows, laminar flows, turbulent flows, compressible flows, incompressible flows, steady, unsteady, supersonic, transonic, subsonic, single phase, multi-phase. Now, after your 4 years, you will be adding one more line to it. That is elliptical, parabolic, and hyperbolic flows also are available in our CFD. So that need to be added, but this we will not tell you at the lower level of education of fluid mechanics. But this problems will be addressing only after you understand the subject and physics. Then only you can write this particular line of, yes, there is one more difference, that is elliptical, parabolic, and hypersonic flows also can occur in a fluid